What's up everyone? So today the R8 is back on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed that intro. It's raining outside, so there wasn't too many other ideas I could come up with. So the R8 is back on the channel. I know it's been absent for a while. We've just had a lot of other review videos and GTR and truck projects going on. So today is basically an update. Where has my R8 been over the last year? So if you're new to the channel, this is my 2010 R8. It's the V8. I have about 41,000 miles on it right now. I've put about 7,000 miles on it this year alone. I got it back in January. So I'm coming in on 1 year of ownership with this car. So basically I'm just going to update you guys on what it's like owning this car so far, maintenance. I did a Q&A for you guys on Instagram and YouTube. It's been about 2 months since I did that, so I apologize for that. But I have all those questions from when I posted that. So I'm going to answer again maintenance, cost, just what it entails on driving this car almost on a daily basis. I do have my Tacoma, but I do like to drive this as much as possible. So the first thing that I'll go over is general maintenance, what it's like maintaining an R8 V8 over 1 year. Some of these are only one-time expenses that I had in the first couple weeks of owning the car. For example, the post-purchase inspection, rather than doing it before I bought the car, I did it after. That was about $400. Just a one-time fee, had Audi do their 250 point check going around the car, just making sure everything turned out great with the purchase that I had. In that inspection, they found that the front driver's side caliper had a leak on it. So I ended up just replacing that. It was about $1,400. I did not pay all of that since I had a small warranty on the car at the time. So I luckily didn't have to pay all of that. And then the only other thing is an O2 sensor that went out, which was $83, and I did that myself. It took me about 2 days to do that. So we're right around $2,000 for the first year of ownership with maintenance. And also with that pre-purchase inspection, that included an oil change as well, which was about $150 of that. So really it wasn't all that much. My next oil change is coming up. It's not something that I think I'm going to do. The car takes 10 quarts. It has 5 drain plugs. And I don't think jack stands is going to be a good idea because you need to get the car up very high just in order to get all that oil out. I don't have 10 quarts worth of pans to be able to drain the oil, so $150, half of that is the oil itself. So for Audi to get that done for me in a couple hours, if that, that's definitely worth it. So oil changes is $150 a year. Along with the oil change though, I have had to add 2 quarts over this year so far, and the car tells me in the center gauge cluster when I need to add a quart of oil. And when I do that, it goes away, everything is fine. So with this car, it does burn oil, and 2 quarts a year is roughly 20 bucks, a little less than that. So that's not really that bad. An oil change, 2 quarts, and you're good for a year. So for the general maintenance, $2,000 in the first year. Hopefully it's $150 in the second year of ownership with just the oil change. Everything else is running fine with the car. I've had 0 issues with it, thankfully. It's been an excellent car. I got it as a one owner, so it was very well taken care of. And hopefully that is all the maintenance that it entails. So it's just like a normal everyday car, except for a pretty expensive oil change. But other than that, it's relatively easy to maintain. As far as getting the car legal, being able to drive it on the road and everything like that, that's something that I went over in a previous video. But just to register this vehicle, it costs about $1,500 to get my license plate. That's, you know, that's not cheap, but it's not more than what I thought for the expense of the car. I thought it was going to be $3,000–4,000 if that. So I could live with $1,500. Again, that was only a one-time expense, and I don't have any inspections or anything like that yearly. So I can basically do whatever I want with the car. I don't have to pay for inspections every year. So that was the one-time cost again, the $1,500. So again, the first year of ownership is going to be the most expensive since those were one-time fees. Moving on to gas now. I have kept track of every tank that I've filled up in this car. I have spent $950 in 1 year, almost 1 year of ownership. Comparing that to my Tacoma, I think I'm probably double in 1 year compared to a year and a half with my truck. So I do go through gas a lot. nothing to really complain about. The MPG is probably the same as the truck, just a little bit bigger tank in this, but I'm gonna have fun with this car. So $1,000 for gas, I mean, it is what it is. I can't change that. I wanted this car, so just to let you guys know how much that was, it's not something I'm concerned about, even though I keep track of it, mainly just for videos like this. Next up is insurance. Insurance for me is $800 a year, and it's actually about $50 more than my Tacoma. I'm not sure if it's because of the age difference, 2010 versus 2017, pickup truck versus two-door coupe. I don't have that information for you, but $800 for the year is very reasonable for a vehicle like this. So actually, owning just a normal everyday vehicle is about the same, since my Tacoma costs more than this. And also I have 0 tickets, 0 accidents on my record, so that helps as well. Moving on to any modifications I've done for the car or plans in the future. Hopefully you guys heard the Army Tricks titanium exhaust on the car. It sounds incredible. I highly recommend, if you ever get a V8 R8, you have to do an exhaust, because the stock exhaust does not do justice for this car. And I like the fact that it has the Valvetronic system, because in race mode, the drone on the highway can give you a headache, so putting it into comfort mode, something I don't do a lot. But on the highway, it's definitely necessary for that, but around town race mode, it's so loud and so crazy. I absolutely love that. As far as future plans go for this car, I would like to wrap it. As you guys saw in an earlier video, I put some Christmas wrapping paper on the car. That was a first. That was pretty cool. It did rip off a little bit on the highway, so it's not recommended for 70 miles an hour, but that was a lot of fun. I would like to actually wrap it for real, so if you guys have any color requests, put them down in the description below. I am not 100% sure on what I want to do yet, but I think it would be pretty cool to do that, especially on this car. I kind of want to do something crazy, so that is definitely going to happen at some point. Moving on to some other questions now. Would I twin turbo this car? I'm not against either twin turbo or supercharge, depending on which one I think is better. And then the cost is also something to consider on that, because it's pretty much almost buying another car to put on this. But I would like more power. This has about 420 horsepower. To the wheels, it's probably over 400, just because it's mid-engine. There's not much drivetrain loss. Even though it is all-wheel drive, most of that is to the rear wheels. So I would like it to be quicker. That's one drawback of the V8. The plus, though, is if I do one of the two, this will be faster than a stock V10 and probably be able to keep up with a V10 Plus. So I have to do a little more research on that to see what makes the most sense. That might be something I will do this year. I'm not sure. It's something to consider. If I'm going to keep this car, 4 or 5 years or more, I will definitely consider adding more power to it. And going off of that, I had a question why I didn't buy a V10. I actually drove an automatic 2011 V10 a couple weeks ago. Hopefully you guys saw that video comparing my V8 manual to a V10 automatic. I know it wasn't manual versus manual, but I didn't have enough of a wow factor to be like, man, I should have got the V10. Especially with the automatic, it is a little slow in the second gen V10 compared to the S-Tronic or R-Tronic in the V10 Plus, which is very, very smooth. I'm very happy with my V8. It performs well on back mountain roads. It's not a straight line vehicle, so it's not going to beat too many cars in a straight line. It's kind of more on comparison with a normal Corvette. And then again, there is that price difference. 20 grand more for a V10 where I can spend a little bit less, supercharge my car, and have a faster car. So that's really why I didn't go with the V10, because it was about 20 grand more, and I can have the V8 in the future, decide to add more power to it, and still cost less than a stock V10. So I'm kind of playing it that way. I can enjoy the car now. It's so much fun even without supercharging it, but this is going to be a beast if I do decide to add more power. And the last question that I had is, am I going to be adding new wheels to this car? I really don't see a need to do that. I like these wheels. When they're clean and shiny, they look really good. I don't see the need to spend $2,000–$3,000 on wheels when that money can go to performance mods. So I'd rather do some cosmetic changes on the exterior. I'm not going to do any more carbon fiber or anything like that just because it is expensive. I'd rather change the color of the car, maybe change the color of the wheels as well, rather than getting new ones, especially when the market is pretty small on being able to sell my stock ones. But if I do find a good set of used wheels maybe in the future. I'm not for it, but if I happen to find a good deal that I can't pass up, I might change it up at some point. So they're staying stock for now. Everything else is pretty much going to stay the same, minus the power at some point in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed that quick update on my R8. I know it's been absent from the channel. Hopefully I will get some more videos coming soon on this car. Let me know if you have any ideas, anything you want to see with this car, anything about daily driving it, or just mountain road driving, anything like that. It is still raining out, so I figured this was a good time to do an update video like this. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Smash that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Make sure you stay tuned for the rest of the videos we have coming this year. And I'll see you guys next video.